Good morning, everybody. My name is the Brandt. Welcome to Step into the Portal. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday morning. Today I am playing the cooperative game Astro Knights, which is from Indie Boards and Cards. This is kind of a follow-up to their very popular Aeon's End card game, deck building card game, that I kind of have a up and down history with, I would say. I kind of got the original version, and then they quickly did a new version. So you had, I can't remember what the process was. You could like update the cards in the backs, and then I do a game convention at my house every year. Excuse me, sorry. So we played one of the boxes. There's a lot of follow-up boxes, and they kind of came with campaigns and things. And I played those. I played that like throughout a weekend, and it was super fun. It was three of us. We had different characters, whatever it was. I can't remember. We went through maybe three or four missions, and we beat the whole thing. And it was like a mini campaign. That was really fun. And then I got a chance during COVID and lockdown to play the legacy version of Aeon's End. And you start out less powerful, and you like build your character as you go. And it just started to drag on a little bit in terms of we were all had our defined roles, and the cards that were on the table, it was almost like the repeat play with the same cards kind of made a negative element to it. So anyway, I've kind of had that up and down with Aeon's End. It's a lot of people's like favorite deck building game. They love it. It's their favorite co-op game. So very, very popular game. So I was excited to see a follow-up because it's definitely something I've still been interested in. Good morning, Dan Terrace. Thanks for joining us here. Good afternoon. Where you are, I know. So this one is 60 minutes. It's 1 to 4 players. I'm actually going to play it as a 2-player game because there are mechanics where the players can work between each other. They did a great job for solo mode. There's just a few changes. Basically, anything that says any ally may do such and such. Just any character can do that. Your character can do the thing that says any ally. But I think there's interaction, so I'm going to try to do that. I am going to play kind of the simplest recommended boss so that I can kind of get through the game in a period of time rather than playing something of complexity. I like to switch it up sometimes, but I decided I'll make it complex by playing 2 heroes, but not make it complex by playing kind of one of the simpler ones. So anyway, they've rethemed the game. They've definitely changed some things mechanically. I'd say it's streamlined. That's what it feels like to me. It's still 60 minutes, and I don't know what Aeon's End is. I imagine Aeon's End's probably 60 to 90 minutes or something like that. Maybe 2 hours. I don't ever remember playing anything that was 2 hours there. So I'm not sure that they would call this streamlined, but there's some mechanisms and some changes that they made that I think are pretty fun. I've been enjoying it so far. I've played a lot of two-handed and solo games. I haven't had a chance to play it with somebody else yet. But that is it, Astro Knights. So let's get down to the table and get to it. All right, so things you'll notice. So here they have a pile of cards, and it's randomized cards. So this is not a set of arc flares. This is a set of high cost, high damage weapons. And then kind of mid and low cost. Here we have tech cards. And then over here we have our fuel cards that we have. We are these characters trying to defeat this Furion who is attacking the homeworld of Yilong, which has 30 health on this dial. Furion has 60 health on this dial here. So that is kind of some of the things. So these are the piles we can purchase from. They're a little far from me, so I'll probably be leaning a little bit, but I've played enough to know a bunch of the cards, so it shouldn't be too bad. Then we've got our characters here, Zach, Z-A-K, and Christina. If you flip these over, you could read about the characters, but I've set up the thing, so I'm not going to do that. So those are the 2 characters I have. Zach's ability is activate during your main phase, attack with up to 2 of your weapons without discarding them. And Christina's is activate during your main phase. Any ally gains the top weapon from any supply deck and places it on their deck. So really, she's going to be feeding him cards, and he's going to be firing to deal the damage. Essentially, there's 2 types of cards in the game. There are fuel cards and weapon cards. Obviously, we have the tech here as well. Fuel cards are going to give us fuel or energy that we can use to purchase cards and to power ourselves up. And then weapons are going to be played onto the board, readied, and then they'll activate. This yellow here is telling us how many slots we have for weapons. So currently, I can only play 1 weapon. I'd have to spend 3 energy, and I can gain another slot. So that is a big differential and kind of a similarity to Aeon's End. In Aeon's End, you had portals I think they're called portals. Hey. And they spin around. You pay to spin them to eventually open them up. What are they called? I feel so bad. So many games. So you kind of spin them, and then you can open those up, and you open up slots. Here, you just straight pay, and you get more slots. I also have a power track down here. When this is fully charged, that's when I can use my special ability, and my health is over here. We don't lose when a character gets to 0 health. We lose when the home world, gets to 30. When we get to 0 health, we are exhausted, and then we trigger this ability based on what the villain is the idea. We're playing on normal difficulty. I do appreciate that the game includes expert and nightmare difficulty, so I can take Furion and make him way harder and just stack that right there. And then Furion will level up to 2 and to eventually 3, and that just plugs in right there. So nice and easy. I've got them here under my face for now. Okay. Breach. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate it, and thanks for joining us. Yeah, that word wasn't going to come to me, but there's a lot of games, so it's just hard to remember all the names for all the things. All right, so that is that much. I wonder, actually, if I can put the home world here. I'm not going to need this in the long run. All right. And then I'll have some space for enemies and other things to come out here. So the other thing to note is that the game is controlled by a player action deck. So there's 2 cards for bosses, 2 for player 1, and 2 for player 2. So in a given round of 6 turns, each of us will go twice. Okay? In a solo game, you would add a third 1-player card, and you'd go 3 times and the boss would go twice. So it scales a little bit because your character is going to be able to get a little bit more powerful quicker because they're taking all the turns. So they do it that way for you. All right, so we'll shuffle up those turn orders. That's how we start. So Furion here has an artillery track. And the other thing to note is all the bosses start with a deck, and then you're going to draw a card on their turn. You remove anything that's above your player count. So I've removed all the 3 and 4 player cards. They go in the discard pile, and I just have the all player count and the 2 player count cards in here. I don't think there are any for solo. So I guess in that place you'd start by immediately leveling up. When they go through their deck, that's when they level up to their next ability. And we'll kind of go through that. What else is there? This is his artillery deck, Furion's artillery deck, and they will just reference when to draw from that, mostly using this artillery track right here. Other things of note. I don't think so. I mean, damage, there's going to be minions that come out, so damage can be dealt to them. You've got a nice player aid, which I'm probably going to actually remove from the table now that I'm looking at the space I have. But this just tells me, during my main phase, I can play fuel or tech, I can equip a weapon, I can gain a card from the supply. Oh, okay. One of the changes here is overcharge. So on the tech deck, you can overcharge, which means you can pay for the card and then discard it and put a new card out without actually collecting the card. So you can immediately trigger it. So that kind of so that kind of gives you that ability to be able to use it immediately and not put it in your deck. But you could also purchase the card. You could pay 3 to gain a slot, 2 to power up. Notice Christina needs 5 power-ups, Zach only needs 4, so they're a little bit different there. Activate your ability, and the homeworld ability is over here, so we'll go over that. Then the other key is, as you buy cards, they're going to go in your discard pile. As you play cards, they go on the table and then get put back in any order. When your deck runs out, it is a deck builder, but the big to-do with Aeon's End and also Astro Knights is you just flip your deck. Welcome, Spartan. It's another game. Yeah, I'm really on a multi-games kick right now, as opposed to when I was sticking to Marvel Champions a lot. All right. So there's that. Ooh. Also, I will let people know that tomorrow is the day that our podcast premieres, the Right Brain Rollers. It is myself and Eric Summerer. And we are doing a audio review board game podcast, and the first episode releases tomorrow, so you can check that out. You can listen to a trailer right now. You can find our Libsyn account. It's slowly being added to all your podcast catchers, so by the end of the month, you should be able to find it wherever you listen to podcasts, but immediately you might not as we get it on all those platforms. So it's the Right Brain Rollers podcast. No, it's just a personality type right now, I think, Spartan. It's just I feel like playing a diversity of games right now, not sticking to one. The game that I'm probably playing a lot more than Champions right now is My Hero Academia, so. I am playing at the basic difficulty. This is my first time showing off the game. I've played it several times. What I decided to focus on, and thank you for joining us, Jack, is I decided to focus on showing off 2 heroes, and I wanted to make, for my brain's sake, I've got to focus on playing the 2 heroes. So I played Furion on the basic difficulty, so that it won't be a super challenge. I beat one of them on the normal difficulty, one of the challenge rating 8 last night, Lunaris. I beat that one. It was crazy. The health total, I got him all the way down to 2, and then it healed back to like 47 or something. And I got it all the way down again. So hopefully I won't make mistakes, but mistakes happen. So anyway, those cards are important to know. I talked about the decks. I think that's it. So this reference card is here. It also gives you the boss turn. And the boss, actually we could put this here, right? And then we could go over this on the boss turn. Cool. I think that's it. I think I went through everything. I've got a player 1 and a player 2 token here. I usually just know left is 1 and right is 2. So that's hopefully to help you. These little tokens can get knocked around. A little easier on a bigger table with people controlling all of them. This is going to be for health of minions. All right, so our Yulong ability is activate during any player's main phase, attack with any player's weapon, increase its damage by 3. So I'm really playing into the increase Zach's weapons. Yeah, that's exactly it, Spartan. Since I'm hosting a night there, Champions will come back. I'm not. It's still my favorite game. I'm just on a little playing it less at the moment. All right, here we go. So first turn is going to be the boss turn. So on the boss's turn, we'll do their main phase. We're going to resolve anything that activates. Oh, I apologize. I didn't read this to you. At the end of the boss turn, if the artillery track is at 3 or higher, perform the following. Draw and resolve the top card of the artillery deck, then place it in the artillery discard pile. Decrease the artillery track by 3, repeat until it is less than 3. So this can move up a bunch, and we would trigger a card for every 3 that it's at. The artillery track can't go past 9. So we can game the system. And when a player is exhausted, we increase it by 3. So they don't have anything to activate. Minions would activate. Sometimes the villains activate. They'll have an activate when they level up and have a different level of difficulty. Nice. Star Wars games are awesome. Do you have Rebellion, Spartan? Otherwise, you should borrow my copy and play that. Draw a card from the boss deck. So we're going to draw here. If it is a strike card, immediately resolve its effect, then place it in the discard pile. If it's a minion, then we'll place it in play, and we put hearts on it and resolve anything it says. So that is the boss turn. We basically activate everything, and then we draw a card from the appropriate deck. The artillery is there at 0, so we're good. So this minion, Wrath the Conqueror, will come out with 5 health. And this is backwards from a lot of games. I have to remember to put the health on there, but that's how they suggest it, so I will follow what they say. Any player suffers 1 damage, or the players collectively discard 2 cards. If Furion is level 2 or higher, do both. So there is that card. That is when it activates, so I want to try to eliminate that. That's it. That's their turn. My turn. Player 2. So you do have to remember that you don't go in player order. All right, so first things I would do on my turn is I would activate any of my weapons. So I can do my weapons in any order, and after it resolves, I would discard it. And then during my main phase, I can do any of these. So I'm going to put a weapon here. I can hold 1. I have a single weapon slot. I have a blaster. I have 3 power cores, which give me energy to purchase. And then I have an Asylum, which is I can gain 1, and you may attack with any player's weapon. Place that weapon in that player's discard pile. So I will do that. So I will attack with this weapon. It gets discarded immediately. Deal 1 damage here to the minion. I could put it on the boss, but for now I'm going to take care of that. Cool, Spartan. Just send me a message on Discord and we'll figure out getting you to borrow my copy of Rebellion. All right. You may attack with any... I did that. So then I have 4 to purchase with. So I have the ability to push these up. I have these cards up here. This one is... I can gain 2 energy, and any player can gain a health. I could also buy another weapon that's out here. This one is if I have full slots, I get 3 energy instead. So let's go ahead and buy this one, the Chromarium Halo. These cards would get played to the table, and then they'll get discarded, so I'm going to put this one closer to the top. Like that. That would end my turn, then I draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to try to have this system where I put them on the face of the character. and whatnot, because my table space is going to be a little bit limited. I was playing on my counter downstairs, a little bigger, so go from there. Awesome. Next turn, boss turn. All right, so the boss is going to activate here. Any player suffers 1 damage, so Christina will take that because we have the heal. Or the players collectively discard 2 cards. That's fine. We'll do it this way. Then we're going to draw a card here, and it is the Titan Land Rover. So this is a minion. When it is defeated, destroy it. And when it activates, all players suffer 2 damage. I don't like not being able to see the artwork when I put this health on it. I think if I played otherwise, I would move things to the side. But for sake of table space, this is what we'll have to do. All right, that is the boss's turn. So then now we know that we've got 3 turns in a row, right? So we could be thinking about how can we eliminate that stuff and what could we do. So 2 again, Christina. So we're going to play that blaster. And then we've got 4 energy. Oops, and the top of this stack should come face up. I guess I didn't really mention that these are piles, and then you would just buy a card. You could probably actually flip them the other way. Or you could make, piles that you could see or whatever. Is the idea. All right, so I have 4 energy and not a lot that I can buy. So I do have this ability, or I could open up another slot, which might be my plan. Deal 2 damage, the home world gains 1 health. Yeah, let's buy this weapon. The repulsor is 3, so we'll pay 3 for that. As I play more, I'm going to get quicker about discarding these on top, even though I technically shouldn't. I should play things to the table. And then I can hold this one, or I can discard it. For now, we will discard it to try to get a little bit more damage out there. So now I need to draw. I flip my deck. I don't shuffle. So you can kind of prepare a little bit more, especially on the higher levels of difficulty. Jack was asking me about difficulty level, and definitely there's ways you can increase this and then really have to focus on where your deck is. I'm just trying to show off Astro Knights in comparison to Aeon's End with 2 characters, rather than mass levels of difficulty. But I do know that some players love and desire to make the games as hard as possible, which is awesome. Totally should. All right, player 1, we're coming back to Zach. So Zach only has 1 slot, so we'd have to pick one of these 2. So we're actually going to pay the 3, open up a slot, and then we can put both of these cards in. The Tectonic Repeater. You may return a weapon from your discard pile to your hand. Cool. And then we will draw 5. So that's what we can do. We can pay to have extra slots and whatnot. And then, surprise, it's player 1 again. All right, so we are going to discard the blaster at the start of turn. You have to attack first. I'm going to deal a damage here to the Titan Land Rover. I think that's the better one to get rid of at this point. Then I'm going to deal a damage with the Tectonic Repeater, and I can return a weapon from my discard pile to my hand. So I can resolve those one at a time. Now it's my regular turn. So I will put these 2 cards out, these 2 blasters. And then I think I want to buy that one eventually, but I guess I will buy this one for now. Deal 2 damage and gain a slot, the Psionic Needle. So I'm going to try to focus on getting Zach to full slots. And then purchasing a card like this, which says you get 3 energy if you have full slots. Oh, there's another Psionic Needle. Cool. All right, so that will finish that round. There's nothing in between the rounds. We just shuffle the deck. I guess there is something. We just shuffle the deck. And we keep going. And that is the way the game is played. Oop, I didn't reset my hand. All right, so this can be a big differential. If you get 4 boss turns in a row, that is one of the elements that just hasn't changed, and you've just got to figure out life from there. All right, cool. So our 2 blasters, we're going with Zach. We'll destroy the Titan Land Rover, who says, remove it from the game. Destroy, which means it's out of the game. Different from discarded. Okay. Then we can equip 2 weapons. We can equip weapons at any time, but again, anything you buy has to go elsewhere. I think I'll be a little bit early with this, but I'm going to spend 3 and buy this Hyperion Anomaly. And that one, hopefully I'll get the slots up before that one gets completed. I'm going to forget to flip these, so forgive me on that front, and possibly to draw my hand as I talk through each of this. But I feel like I do know. All right, back to Zach again. So Zach is going to... Ooh, tough choice here, huh? We can gain the slot, or... Yeah, look at this. So we're going to do this. What do we have in our hand? Just one. We're going to deal 3 damage with the Psionic Needle. Then we're going to deal 1 with the Tectonic Repeater and put this back in our hand. We're going to take out this minion, who will be discarded. And then we're going to equip these again, and we'll get the slot this second time. Could have been a way to maximize my slots already, but I'm not quite there in terms of buying stuff anyway. And then we'll use our 4 to buy our Psionic Needle, and we're good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, over here, back to the boss. So the boss has nothing to activate because we eliminated all those enemies. And then it will be an unrelenting onslaught. Oh, well, that's easy. That's nothing. It's just unrelenting. The homeworld suffers 3 damage. Increase the artillery track by 1. All right, so we're taking 3 damage here on our homeworld. I guess I should switch these out, huh? A little bit. We are down to 27. Maybe that goes there. Still trying to figure out where to put all these things. These tokens can go up here. Deck is here, and our minions can still go here. Okay, we are good. Boss fight, boss turn. All right, so now they're going to get this last card, which means they will level up next time. But it also means that we've got several turns in a row. All right, the player with the most slots suffers 2 damage and discards a card in hand. Most slots suffers 2 damage and discards a card. Man. Well, we have a single blaster. I actually think that's what I'm going to get rid of, because I have 6 here to buy this card, and I don't want to lose that. I can also take the blaster back. Oh, no, not with that one. So we'll do that and increase the artillery by 1. All right. So we got a couple turns here now, we know, before they're going to do anything. So we're going to go with Christina. She will fire this blaster. Now, sometimes you can hold these, especially if there's no minions and you're waiting. So we have done our first point of damage to Furion. That is 59. Actually, when I play, I usually put the health dial right here, but I didn't know if it'd be a little confusing. When I bring in the tile, I'll probably move it up there. Again, saving a little bit of space. Okay. So that damage has been dealt. Now, we've got may attack with any player's weapon. Place it in that player's discard pile. So I could just put my own blaster out. If I do this, I could gain a slot, but I really want Zach to gain the slots. And then I've got 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 5 here, and somebody gains a health. I guess I'll give it to Zach here as well. Ah, nice. Ben is here, and Ben Davey says, love Astro Knights, but coming from Aeon's End with most expansions, I really want an expansion. Have heard there's one in the works, though. Nice. Yeah, I mean, what is the big differential to you, Ben, in this game? Is it really just that it's streamlined? Like, is that how you feel about this? Or, I mean, this seems like one of the big changes is what you can purchase is changing, but also they give you a good economy of things. Yeah, I feel like I said at the beginning, Aeon's End is kind of an up and down game for me, so I've been enjoying this a lot. It feels very smooth and whatnot. So I like the different bosses, although that was definitely existing in the other one. All right. So we healed 1. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we could fire a weapon if we want to. We don't have 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5. See, this is a high cost here. You got a lot of high cost things. This is going to be for maximum slots. I don't really want to do that. So I guess this is a reasonable option right here to buy the ballistic array. So we'll buy that one for 4. And then we could technically hold 1 to fire a weapon. So we'll just spend the 4, not worry about the weapon firing. Put these here. And we'll hold 1. So I actually been discarding any extra cards, but you can hold anything you want to. So I'm going to try that. Not sure it's my best call. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. If you have comments, questions, or anything, feel free to put them there. If you've played the game before, if you played Aeon's End, if you're watching afterward and you have any of those, you can just put them right down below in the comments, and I will get to those as I can. Thank you, thank you. So fun to play games with people here with me. I love that. All right. Oh, it's going to be our turn again. So is holding this going to help us? No. So now that I think about it, holding this one doesn't actually help us in any way. So yeah, I don't really know what any of it does. Maybe it just doesn't even matter. I'll fire their gun and deal 1 damage. We will get another card. All right, player 2 again. So yeah, the predictability is kind of an interesting part. You don't usually see that, and of course, usually just goes around the table, and now it's you kind of figure it out. But then there's the big shuffle and turn where you're like, oh no, what can we do? We'll deal 1, go to 57. We'll lay out this repulsor weapon, which will gain 1 for the home world. And then we have 4. So with 4, we could purchase this lightning cutlass, which isn't a bad purchase, although, did I have 2 weapons equipped? Did I make a mistake there, everybody? I don't think I actually have. I don't think I did, but I apologize if I did. I was not trying to have 2 weapons. I know I only have 1 slot. May have missed that. So do we buy that cutlass and have a bunch of weapons? I think if we're going to do that, we're going to have to get a slot. So we'll spend 3, get a second slot now that we're getting a lot of weapons. And then I do think I want to have this. I will hold the 1 because damage isn't super imminent. And 1, 2, 3. All right, here we go. Now it's the big shuffle for the next turn. Love the streamlined nature as it's a lot quicker to get to the table. Okay, that's what I thought. Feel lack of options for deck building. Yeah. It's impossible when they say, oh, here's a new version of something that you've played, right? And until it expands out, it's hard to compare to something that you have so much of. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, somebody who's a huge Aeon's End fan. It's good to have your feedback. Thanks for joining. Okay, so here we would activate. There's nothing to activate, so the deck is going to run out. So we're going to take this deck, flip it, shuffle it. I'm like so nervous that I'm doing this wrong. I'm pretty sure I just put this into play and shuffle the deck. I don't think I add anything, but I'm going to double check all of a sudden that I don't mess that up for you. I've played a ton. Find the next level token. Yeah. Resolve any instant effects. Shuffle all the cards. Oh, that's right. One of them had a thing on the token. That's where I was thinking. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I was good. All right, so we're going to play this. The instant effect is minions in play gain 4 health. We have kept them at bay, so that's what's kind of making this easy. Is as long as we keep those minions at bay, we're not really going to struggle through that. And then when this unit activates, it will increase the artillery track. So every turn it will do that now, but of course activation came first, and we went to draw phase, so we don't do that this round. And then we just shuffle, including those cards that we put in the discard pile at the start. There you go. Nice. Ben says Aeon's End, second favorite game. So I'm going to move this dial up to here. I know it blends in a little bit. There is only a Furion dial, so it happens to have that boss on it, but normally there isn't that. All right, and then we have to actually draw a card, which is Titan Barrage. Titan Barrage. The player with the most slots suffers 2 damage and discards a card in hand. Increase the track by 1. All right, so who can afford to discard? You have 6, and we really want you to purchase this card. So not you. You are going to discard a power core. Still have 3. So you will take 2 damage, and we will increase the artillery track. So now we have to check this, and we have to decrease this by 3. I think it's actually draw a card and then decrease it by 3. The player with the most slots suffers 2 damage. We're going to put that on Zach over here. And that pinpoint torpedo's going there. All right, another boss turn? Oh, no. All right, so first things first, we're going to activate, which means the artillery is going to go up 1. Then we're going to draw a card, which is Fire Support Specialist. So this will come into play with 6 health on it. And it activates, increase the artillery track by 1. If Furion is level 3, any player suffers 3 damage. Yikes, so we got to get rid of that. ASAP. All right, now we know we have 4 turns to play with, though. Player 1, so coming over here. So deal 2 damage and gain a slot. So I feel pretty comfortable using that, even though I could deal 3. I feel like I'm going to be able to get enough damage out there. So we're going to deal the 2. Gain a slot. Actually, maybe not. Then I have 6, which is going to be the Peacekeeper, so I'm going to buy that one. I can deal 5 damage, and if it defeats a minion, somebody can power up and heal 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe I don't have enough damage, but I might not have had it anyway. All right, and then I'm thinking this is the player's turn, but I have to flip the shuffle. So this is going to deal 2. Yeah, so interestingly, maybe that was the incorrect move, but we may just have to deal with it. The homeworld gains 1 health. So from what I read, too, the bosses and the homeworld don't have a maximum health. They can keep going up. We max at 10. All right, so now it is our turn. We will play the blaster and the ballistic array. And the ballistic array actually has an equip. When I equip it, I deal a damage. So that's nice. So now I know that I will draw my card again and defeat that before it goes. All right, and then I gain 2, and somebody gains a health. So I'll just heal myself for now. Actually, this feels like the more important character in the long run. So then I have 3. So now my options are to purchase something that's out here, of which things are very expensive at the moment. I would have liked to purchase this, but I had to take that discard. So, am I going to give myself the 3rd slot? I should do this. This is what I should do. So I'll spend the 2 and hold the 1. And I'm going to move up here, and then we can gain the top card off of this. I should really be doing this early to get that going. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4 to go with my other card. And then player 1. So player 1, Zach has no damage. Man, these are going to go all over the place. I don't know if there was a crowd-funded version of this. I'm not sure if these boards... I have the retail versions. That's what I like to show off since that's what people can go get. It makes sense to me. All right, so we'll play both of these weapons, and then we have 3, and we're just going to buy this Hyperion Anomaly, so we have some more to buy some more weapons and play some of these higher cost cards. And now we know we're good, because this one is going to flip. It's going to be player 2. We're going to fire our blaster, get rid of the fire support specialist, so we really haven't had to deal with the minions. I think we've had 1 trigger so far, which is kind of why this is the easier level difficulty. And then we will attack with the ballistic array for 3. Bring this down to 54, and take our regular turn. So we have a single blaster to equip. I can attack with a weapon. Actually, I will do that. So I'll play this one to attack with the Tectonic Repeater, deal a damage, and I will return a weapon from my discard pile, which will be this ballistic array, and I will equip it, because I don't have to equip weapons at the start. When it equips, it deals a damage, so we're down to 52. And then I've got 3 others, so I've got 4 total. Oh, I did want to get this, though, huh? No, let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to get our special ability going. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hopefully everybody can follow along so far. Crowdfunded version has extra heroes, bosses, and homeworlds. Thank you, Jack. That's good to know. That makes sense. More variety, right? Which is great. I mean, that's something you want. Content is always great. Yes, I mean, one thing, these boards are a little bit chintzy or slippery. They obviously made a way for these to lock in. If you're playing on something that has a game mat, I'm playing on just kind of a regular table here, so it's a little bit slidey. I got lost for a second, but it's just because I got to flip. Player 2 again. All right, so if I knew minions were coming out, I might try to hold something, but we're just going to fire these off for 4 damage, and we're going to put out the repulsor. So we're down to 48. Kind of have that control here until something crazy happens or we get through this. Ooh, wait, did I miss this? Minions enter with +4 health. So I think I did miss that, right? So luckily, I can just deal that 4 damage now. And that is my bad. Sorry about that. I knew that was there. Okay, so yeah, minions should have entered, and I'm pretty sure I drew the fire support specialist after. It would have had to been. So that should have had 10 health on it, so I just did the 4. That was lucky, because had the boss card come up, I would have had to suffer the effects, because I forgot. I missed it, but we're good there. All right, so we're going to install that, and then we're going to spend these 4, and we're going to increase to the top here. Any ally gains the top weapon from any supply deck and places it on their deck. So let's see what we got here. It may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile when you equip it and deal 6 damage. Yes, please. We'll take the Arc Flare for free. But they're going to make it an expansion. Yeah. Makes sense. I like that. I don't mind. Lots of people discover games afterward, you know? I mean, this came into our store, and I was like, cool, I'll pick it up. Let's see if it works. And then I had fun. I was like, let me stream it. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try to keep it moving. Player 2 again. All right, so we're going to deal 2 damage. And the home world heals 1. So many little interactions. It's like when I'm talking it out and playing it, it feels funny to... A lot smoother when you're just playing in your head. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. May attack with another player's... So I could actually gain the slot, but we really want him to get to the top slot on that. So I really don't want to use your weapon. So I'll attack with my own weapon, and then I have 5. You know what? We'll hold that one as we were going to before. Somebody gains a health. We'll spend 4 to buy... Oops, see, this is where this should not happen. The lightning cutlass should go here. We'll spend those 4. We'll hold this one. How many games show up at the store that I pick up and I don't like? Many games show up at the store that I don't like. So we'll start there. I tend to have known something about a game. So the biggest issue would be not games that I don't like. How many games do I pick up, I play them, I like them, and then next thing I know, I've played it 3 times in a month, and a year later I haven't played it at all. That's a lot more frequent. I would say. Something that I was like, oh, those 3 plays were really fun in that first month, and then I haven't touched it since. But usually when I buy something, it's something that I've known, I've played at a convention, those kind of things. It is true. It's Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, you can see it right there. All right, awesome. Here we go. Player 1. See, I forgot to draw my cards. Drew my cards. So yeah, that's what I would say, Spart. When I've picked something up, I've heard something about it. I knew this was Aeon's End. But this could have had a shot. This could have been like, ooh, this is way too simple, and Aeon's End's a lot better. Which you could see Ben saying, you know, when you have all the Aeon's End stuff, it's tough. Imagine Marvel Champions Reboot, where it's like a different game, but you know you don't have all the stuff. You'd feel the loss of some of that. All right, deal 2 damage and gain a slot. So now we're going to get to our top slot. And then we will play Peacekeeper, Psionic Needle, Blaster, and we've only got 1. I think we'll actually hold that to purchase with, because we may want to try to get a few other things here. All right, so those are all going in. And next up is the boss. So now we've had the reverse. Right now the boss is coming at us most of the time. All right, start of the round, they're going to activate. Then they're going to draw a card, which is an improvised weaponry. It's a strike. Increase the artillery track by 2. Any player... excuse me. Discards a card in hand that costs more than 1. That costs 1 or more, excuse me. So I could get rid of this. I have 7. I would be down to 4. That could be an option. Or let's get rid of this one with damage on it. Maybe the purchasing isn't as big a deal right now. Attack with any player's weapon without discarding it is pretty good. But we'll just get rid of this one here. Go from there. But I do tend to be somebody that likes games more than not likes games. I'm in the hobby to enjoy games, not to discover I don't enjoy games. And I don't mean that with any ill will towards anyone. All right, so now we have to activate the artillery track. Sonic Blade. Any player suffers 4 damage. All right. There we go. All right, we're going to have to survive this boss again, huh? Nope. 1. So, do we think a minion is going to come out? Do we want this here? Because we don't have any weapons. Could we run into trouble on that front? Let's just assume it's not going to be too bad. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 is 10. So, Furion's going to be down to 38. Then we can spend our 4. We could level up ours. Attack with 2 weapons without discarding sounds wonderful. Perfect. All right, and then draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we just need to do a little deck thinning is where we need to get to. All right, and then the last one will be the boss, who will start by increasing the artillery track 1 and then drawing a Rage Knight that comes in with +4 on it. So it'll be at 9, and the homeworld suffers 2 damage. Yeah, that's one we could actually kind of survive. If it's not directly to us. We've got a decent amount of health over there. All right, here we go. Christina's turn. So let's see what we got here. Blasters. Attack with any other player's weapon. Any player's weapon, excuse me. We got 3 for powering that up. We could get another slot for now. So this blaster will fire... Man, I'm tempted to ignore that Rage Knight. I'm going to do it. Let's see what happens. 37. Then I'm going to equip this and equip this. When this gets equipped, it deals 1 damage. I can then fire any player's weapon. So I'll fire this ballistic array, deal 3. 33. And I've got 3, so I will equip 1 more slot so I can get 3 weapons there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. I have had these pop out a few times. All right, player 1. So Zach is going. Zach has 1 weapon and 6 energy. So 6 energy could be to fire a weapon, but we don't have anything good right now. 6 could also be to increase this, right? So 4 will get us there. And then 2, destroy the top card of any supply deck. Destroy the top card of any supply deck and deal 2 damage. So we'll get another pistol, so we have that. Since we have so many slots. This is a very good entry point. It's true. All right. Draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But again, everybody has to know what they're looking for and they want to do. The point of this game is to mostly be self-contained. You open it up, you play with friends, right? Roughly 1 person owns a copy, and you kind of split that and play it. You're playing it in your house or whatever. Whereas something like Champions is everybody's going to own their own cards and build their own decks and show up with things. Or just other games in general. I used Champions as an example, but right. So it's not. It's just a different experience. All right, we are going to fire this blaster for 1, bring him down to 32. The boss has gone 0 times. Okay. We will equip both of these, the Lightning Cutlass and the Repulsor. We've got 3 here. So 3 could buy us another Repulsor. I think we're just at weapons time. If I'm going to go in on damage, this is what I got to do. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, this should be a boss now. So this will activate. The Homeward will suffer 2 and go down to 27. So I'm letting that happen. This is going to increase by 1. Who knows? Unrelenting Onslaught. The Homeworld suffers 3 damage. Increase this track by 1. So now we're down to 24. So I got 12, which is 6 rounds. But I think I can deal 32 damage. All right, and then Artillery is going to be Combustion Grenade. The Homeworld suffers damage. Any player suffers 1 damage. Any player powers down. Ooh, that's really bad. Any player loses a slot. Yikes. Okay, so we'll go here. I assume he would have to power down. That's rough. Any player suffers a damage. That hurts. So I assume I can't power down if I was already at 0. What does it say for power down? That would be dumb. Not all the way down. Power down is lose 1. Good, that's fine. We can deal with that. I did all those things. Okay, so next card, boss turn. They're going to increase by 1, draw a card. The card says, the homeworld suffers 4. Yikes. All right. I better get damage fast. I know I have it, so I'm not too worried, but I feel like I have it. I should not say I know I have it. All right, back to player 1. This is where we need you. So we will fire this Tectonic Repeater, deal 1 damage, get a card out of our discard pile, specifically a weapon. Then we will equip our plethora of weapons. We actually have too many. When this is equipped, you may destroy a card in your hand or discard pile. Okay, we'll destroy this power core so it is out of the game. We will spend this 3 as 2. Sorry, it's not discarded. Just played. And I can fire 2 of my weapons without discarding them. So I will fire these 2 for 5 and 6 each. Attack with up to 2 of your weapons without discarding. So there's 11 damage. Ba-boom! When we get to go again, we'll do that again. So I am actually 1 too many on these cards. But we'll hold the Disruptor Pistol because we need damage. Yeah, I think we're pretty close here. I don't feel too worried. This card caught me off guard, but I thought I powered all the way down, and powering down just 1 slot was like, nah, I can deal with that. All right. Here we go. I think, actually, this might be enough. Ooh, activate 1 here. This one deals 2. Did I miss the 2? I did on the second turn, so I think this actually be 15. I think on the second turn for the boss, I forgot. All right, Wrath the Conqueror is back. More Wrath. 1, 2, 3, 4. What do we got left here? 1 card, so the boss won't go till next round. So we have at least 4 turns. I think we got 20 damage in us. That's just going to activate. Okay. Don't be a boss turn. Don't be a boss turn. Player 1, here we go. All right, so player 1 will deal 6 damage, deal 5 damage, deal 3 damage, deal 3 damage. So that is going to be 11, 17. Oh, yeah. 17 damage. We've got it now. Ba-boom! All right, and then we will equip these 3. And we'll spend 2 to power up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we really didn't do a lot of culling. I've only removed 1 card and still been pretty efficient. So that's been interesting. 2, and that will be game, right? This one deals 3. The Lightning Cutlass will defeat Furion. I don't think there's a rule that minions in play have to be defeated. I don't think they have any kind of guard mechanic. I think that was... Some of the creatures said you cannot attack, but I don't think there was a thing that says you must. I also never did the overcharge thing, so that is kind of sad that I didn't get to show that off. So I didn't show culling, I didn't show the home world, which I guess is the easier level difficulty, right? I didn't have to play into some of those things. That one felt particularly that way. I guess I'd played this boss once and then played a bunch of others, and I probably should have done a little bit more. But it's fine, because I can tell you about other things that you can do. All right, where is attack? Yeah, there's nothing about they have to be attacked. Cool. All right. Didn't think so. Hello, Canadian Mustache. Thanks for joining. All right, so what's things that we didn't get into, because that was kind of a little bit on the easier end, which is what people were telling me. Maybe play it again at some point. And whatnot. So, Expert. During step 2 of the rules on the boss mat, decrease the artillery track by 2 instead of 3. Okay, so this would have gotten a lot of artillery cards out. I feel like I probably still could have handled that. There was a turn it got to 4, so it would have taken 2 cards. I never got to 5. But, of course, it would have to get to 3. So it would just be getting back to 3 sooner. Okay, so I would have seen a decent number, right? So if I got 3, arguably I'd get 2/3, so 2 more cards. So I would have had to deal with 4 more damage on the home world. That's fine. And 2 more damage, and I suffered. So actually it would have been 6 more damage. This would have been at 9. But maybe with that damage, I wouldn't have gone as fast. If we were exhausted, we had to increase this track by 3. So you keep playing, but you have to increase the track. And the other one, when you're exhausted, you lose a breach permanently, if I remember correctly. It's hard to remember all the boss fights and if things did things different. I never used this over here, which I could activate, and I could increase a weapon to fire with any player's weapon and increase it by 3. So that wasn't something. I didn't have a lot of homeworld power-up. That's usually in here. And that was actually probably the biggest thing that I didn't get a chance to show off, which is this, because there was a 6 on top, which was super hard to then activate. Attack with any player's weapon without discarding it. I had that ability in spades. But what I wanted were some, like, suffer a damage to defeat a minion or draw 2 cards. I mean, that's good, but it's 7. Are there supposed to be 2 piles of these? No. So there aren't 2 piles of tech, so that could be a little bit tricky. But let's see. The homeworld powers up twice. So let's say this card was out. One of the players would spend 5, which I had at times. The homeworld would power up twice, and then we would fire with somebody's weapon plus 3. Great way to take out a minion, right? Oh, this is going to deal 5 to a minion instead. Or my card that says when you defeat a minion, you heal, so I can make it deal 8. And then this card, I can either purchase, it doesn't happen immediately, or I could just play it immediately and it goes to the bottom of the deck and a new card comes up. It might be destroyed, but I think it just goes to the bottom of the deck. Overcharge, yeah. I can't remember which it is. Bottom of the supply deck, yep. So that is that idea. What are the other things? So when he came into level 3, then minions would gain 4 health, and the artillery track would go up 2. So now you could see this working in tandem would be pretty rough, because it increases by 2 every turn, and it decreases by 2 essentially every turn as long as it gets to 3. So this is almost, right, 2 out of 3 turns, you're going to be drawing an artillery card, so you'll be going through this deck pretty quick. And minions come in with plus 8. That plus was what was almost telling me, hey, start to ignore these. You've got the damage in your deck. Let's take them out, was kind of the idea. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate it. So then Nightmare difficulty would have been during step 2 of the rules on the boss mat, decrease our charge by 1 instead of 3. I mean, that's, yeah. That's going to take a certain group of players with characters they know really well, and then you're going to have to start. I was discarding stuff, but there's a lot of players I know that discard in a certain order. Like, okay, let's look. You're going to draw 2 plus 3. What's the bottom 3 of your discard pile? So let's make this the 4th card, make this the 5th, right? Whatever it is. Like, they start figuring that all out. Oh, if I fire this weapon, it'll now be ready. I want to fire this one first because it's going to be in the discard pile. And I didn't get to that level of complexity with the game because I played this easiest boss. And I actually felt the easiness of it this time. When I was trying to learn the game, this boss didn't feel as easy, but I did feel that. But hey, props to them for making a tile, right? That's just like, boom, harder difficulty, boom, harder difficulty. That's great. Like, that's a really good way to do that. You can find out how these characters interact a little bit more. It was a pretty short stream, so I will go through some of the other stuff that's in the box so people can see it. Rather than play another game, I think I'll go here. So we've got the Architect 0815. So this one is neat. It brings out droid minions, and then it'll have things that like activate every droid minion. If you have 10 droid minions in play, you lose. So there's constantly minions coming in the game. This one only starts at 50 health, and it doesn't have that extra deck that it's coming at you with, so that's part of the reason. And they give you some level of difficulty. This is a 5 difficulty rating with 6 different levels. This one levels up a whole bunch. And you're getting all these minions into play. So that is the Architect. Then there's also Continua. Put this somewhere, I don't lose it. So Continua is the one I have not played yet. I've played actually each of these twice now, and Lunaris once, and I haven't played this one. So I think that's 5 games. When the temporal turn order card is drawn, the players collectively discard cards equal to the number of minions in play. Do not resolve a boss turn. Oh, so you're going to shuffle a different card into the deck. So there's going to be another card that goes in the deck here, the turn order deck, and that's what's going to activate here. 60 health, challenge rating 8. Then Lunaris is interesting. It's like a planet trying to assimilate other things. Their leader took on the name Lunaris, claiming to be the soul of the celestial body itself. Join it in the attempt to ascend to immortality. Yeah, they're answering their resources of every planet they come across. So this one had an extra set of augmented minions and strikes, and as you drew those cards, they go into your discard pile, so you're adding things into their deck. And then they had a whole bunch of cards. They have this Eclipse track. When they get to the top of the Eclipse track, you're going to take a card from that augmentation deck, play it, discard it to theirs, and then reset the deck. So they're adding these cards to their own deck. And then their cards will say, like, if they're above 40, deal damage to your homeworld. Otherwise, they heal. For a bunch, it was like 15. So like I said, this is the one that I got down to 2, and I was like, oh, that wasn't that hard. And then it was like 2 boss turns, and they healed 30, and then they drew an augmentation card, and then they healed another 10, and I was like, oh my gosh. It just went from 2 to 42 or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it happened. So that's what they're doing. So they're adding all these other cards into their deck with random, wild, crazy abilities. It'd actually been neat to make one that said, like, take the other boss cards and start shuffling them in or something, right? But probably not for this base box. All right, other characters are Silas, whose ability is any player gains 5 health. So that's just your healer. Toli is the homeworld gains 3 health and powers up. That can be really useful to keeping you alive and in the game. And then if you use one of the homeworlds that's a little lower on health, can make a nice combo there. Nasma is any ally draws 3 cards and they can destroy a card in their hand. So that really leads to deck culling, which is what I did against Lunaris last night. I had Nasma and Toli. And what was the effect on this? It was like, oh, power somebody up 5 times. So I was able to use this and then use this to heal 3, power the homeworld up. And then when I use the homeworld, I could power this one back up again to do it again, and then partially use this one, and then this one was allowing this character to cull all their cards. It was pretty powerful. Gavriel. Deal 3 damage, increase that damage by 1 for each weapon in your discard pile. So that's kind of your alternate damage dealer to this one here. And then this is your support character getting everybody their weapons. This would be especially powerful in multiplayer. Sorry. In 3 and 4 player, I would think, to get everybody a powerful weapon just for free. They don't have to worry about that as much, and you don't have to worry about damage, so you can just be culling your damage cards, getting your energies, right? Getting these higher energy cards, which I didn't do. But this one gains you 3, and when you gain a tech this turn, place it in your hand, so you don't have to overcharge. You could just get this and make it be part of what you do, which is pretty sweet. Is there just play a fuel or tech card? Okay. What others are in here? Gain 3, may destroy the top card of any supply deck. The homeworld powers up when you gain 2. So there's not any gain 4 or anything crazy like that. So yeah, I could see this variety will run out, but it is nice to have a variety of things coming up. One of the things I found a little bit tricky with Aeon's End was you just have the piles and you just kind of all build to your thing, which is great for one-off games. For the campaign, the legacy one, I found it a little, the lack of variety was a little tricky. Like, well, I'm now pigeonholed into this character, so this is what I should do. So that's what you're going to get in the box. It also comes with tuck boxes for the characters. I guess you can put the tiles and everything in there. I didn't actually do it. There's just cards, right? Dividers in there, and I just used the dividers to put everything out. So that is what is in the game. These supply piles are always the same, but of course there are a variety pile, but most of them include... Oh, we got to look at the big weapons. Deal 7 damage, divide however you choose. That's amazing. Any ally draws a card, then deal damage equal number of cards in that player's hand. Okay, so this is generally going to deal 6, but I wonder if you could do something like combine it with that character, right? Nasma. But she makes him draw. So with 3 players, you'd have this character, right? This character makes another person draw, then this character makes them draw. They're +3, -1, 7, 8. Now this thing's dealing 8 damage. Well, or you could just buy this and deal 9. But you are getting card draw out of that. Deal 5 damage. Each ally draws a card. Ooh, that one's real good. I like that. Yeah, and this is neat how these change. There isn't a way to cycle the piles that I know of, and that might be something that could make it a little bit different as well. So there you go, everybody. That is Astro Knights from Indie Board and Cards. It's a kind of smaller, newer, rethemed version of Aeon's End, if you've heard of Aeon's End and been interested in trying it. Maybe the space theme, space opera, is more interesting to you. Or maybe you're looking for an entry point there as well. Cool. If anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in there below. You can thumb the video. I would appreciate that. If you like what you see on the channel, you can subscribe as well. If you have suggestions for other games that you would like to see me play, I will do that too. Again, tomorrow you will be able to listen to the all-new podcast, The Right Brain Rollers. It's not really a Step into the Portal thing, but it is me. So Eric Summer, formerly of the Dice Tower podcast, and myself has started a podcast. We're going to review games. We review 4 games individually up front. Then we roll a D12 and we get a topic that eventually all of you are going to give us. You're going to submit those topics and we'll roll a D12 and talk about it. And then we do a doubles review at the end with a game that we actually played together, and we give it kind of a full review and focus for that game. So tomorrow's game is Tesseract, which is a game from Smirk and Laughter. It's the imprint of Smirk and Dagger games. And Kirk Covert, who runs that, was nice enough to teach us that game at the Portal, and he's local to Connecticut. So that's the first big review you'll hear, and Tesseract is set to drop from crowdfunding. Sorry, it's already crowdfunded. It is set to release and go to backers. I hate saying, because it's just so hard to know with those games, but something like May is when you'll see that game. So you can listen to that. So it's not too far out, right? Just 2 months ahead. That you'll be able to hear about that. So, cool. Thanks, everybody. I hope you have a great Tuesday. Thanks for joining me here on Step Into the Portal, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. I don't know what's coming up this week, so just stay tuned to the channel, and as I have time and find time, I will do that. That's it for me, everybody. Until next time, I'm the Brandt, and I hope you step into the portal. Bye.